This video was created by VinylicPuma of VinylicPumaGaming.
What is going on, everybody? This is VinylicPuma, and today I wanted to make a commentary video talking about Borderlands with you guys. Now, this is titled the Borderlands Rant. I'm not really gonna be mad or anything or say what a boatload of ass or what a pile of you-know-what, but I kind of want to talk about Borderlands, and I also just want to give some ideas that I have for the franchise and some things that Gearbox and maybe 2K Software could do at this point. But before I talk about Borderlands, I want to talk about Battleborn. Now, for those of you that don't know, most of you probably already know, I did not buy Battleborn, and that was because, for the most part, the game wasn't for me, and I think a lot of people that tried Battleborn expecting it to be Borderlands, probably didn't like the game either. Now, I think there is the argument going around that people shouldn't have expected that Battleborn should have been anything like Borderlands, and I don't think that's necessarily the case. After all, in all of the marketing material for Battleborn, it said from the creators of Borderlands. And, you know, this was also during, like, the time when, I guess there was that Jungle Book movie, when they had from the creators of Iron Man. While I think it's fair to say that there is probably at least a little bit of overlap between the people that liked the Iron Man movies from the Marvel Cinematic Universe and then the Jungle Book, there are probably some people that like both of those movies. For the most part, the people that are into the Marvel Cinematic Universe don't really care about the Jungle Book. Now, of course, there's also the argument that Battleborn is going to be suddenly pick up in popularity in a couple months from now. And, you know, that could happen. But I will say this, is that I don't think the audience for Battleborn is going to be the same as the audience for Borderlands. And obviously what we have seen from the launch is that that is definitely not the case. It is worth mentioning that Evolve on PC had like a peak player count of 26,000. And the peak player count for Battleborn currently is 12,000 on Steam for PC. But we're not here to talk about Battleborn. We're here to talk about Borderlands. And, you know, recently I played Tales from the Borderlands and I completed it. And I did 2 whole playthroughs. And I've got to say that the staff over at Gearbox that helped out with Tales from the Borderlands, I know, I guess, like, Telltale Games primarily developed it, but Gearbox Software, I guess some of the writers helped write some of the story. I don't know what all of the details are as far as that goes, but I played Tales from the Borderlands, and I was somebody that was very critical of Tales from the Borderlands when it first came out because I wanted a more of a looter-shooter gameplay experience. But, you know, honestly, after playing Tales from the Borderlands was phenomenal. The graphics and the art style that was carried over from Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel were excellent. Just like the ambiance with some of like the soundtrack for the game. Like, I remember in episode 5 where like the Hyperion moonbase, well, spoiler alert, but the Hyperion moonbase gets destroyed and they're playing James Blake's Retrograde, and it's just fucking badass. Or even the beginning intro thing for episode 1 where they're playing Busy Earnin', and dude, it's just, the ambiance was fucking phenomenal. Pardon my French, of course. If you go on the Steam forums, and you could probably go to other places on the internet as well, there are a lot of people that want a Tales from the Borderlands Season 2, and, you know, I am kind of on that boat, and I am somebody that isn't particularly crazy about the backstory of Borderlands, but Tales from the Borderlands really kind of got me into that. And, you know, they don't even have to do Reese and Fiona. They could do, like, the story of some different Vault Hunters that you played in the main game, and that would be really interesting. I mean, it would be cool to see, like, Mordecai and Brick prepare to go capture Athena like they do in the Tales from the Borderlands, I guess, episode 3. So Gearbox, 2K, and the gods over at both of those developer and publishing houses, we want a Tales from the Borderlands Season 2. Please do it. But here's the thing that I want to get into, and I want to talk about Borderlands 2's game engine and Borderlands the pre-sequel's game engine and how they are extremely similar, and actually, you know what, let's be honest here, they're probably the exact same engine. Now, I have a rough idea of how old my audience is here on YouTube, but one of the things that I really liked about some of the older FPS games on PC, and maybe even console to some degree, is that games like the original Doom, like from like Doom 1 to Doom 2, I mean, there was a lot of similarity. I mean, really the only thing that changed is they added some new enemies, and they added the super shotgun in Doom 2. But, I mean, for the most part, it was the same engine, and you could manipulate and play and have kind of the same experience with both games. And it's probably possible with some Doom 2 mods to where you can play the classic Doom levels with like your super shotguns and your newer enemies, etc., etc. And I kind of thought about it, and I thought, you know, why can't we do that with like the Generation 2 Borderlands games? And those are being, of course, Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel. And you know, wouldn't it be cool if you could play Athena in Borderlands 2, and you could play through the entire campaign all 3 times, actually possibly even 4 times, depending on how you decide to do it. Because, I mean, you'd be playing normal, true Vault Hunter mode, ultimate Vault Hunter mode, and then like the OP8 difficulty. And, you know, that would be kind of sick. Like, you could play through, and it would be a totally new way to experience Borderlands 2. And then maybe you could do something like vice versa, where you take a Borderlands 2 character and you can play them through the Borderlands the pre-sequel campaign. And maybe, like, for example, you could take, of course, I love Axton, but you could play Axton and you could go through the entire pre-sequel campaign. And, you know, yes, I guess it wouldn't fit the lore, but honestly, as like a core looter shooter experience, honestly, in my humble opinion, that doesn't really matter if the lore elements aren't there. I also think if Gearbox and 2K ultimately decided to do this, I mean, this would be a great way for them to basically sell us an upgrade for both games. Like, you could have Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel, and if you have both of those games, you could pay like a $20 upgrade cost, and what it would do is it would merge both games into one, and then that way you could use like some of the weapons that you have in Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel in each of the other games. So you could have like crazy stuff, like you could have like the Slaga and then the Phrygia going at the same time, to where you freeze and slag enemies and then you do critical hits. And dude, it would be sick, and it would be a lot of fun to mess around with that. It would be cool to take Salvador and then gunzerk the crap out of the Empyrean Sentinel, or take Nisha the Lawbringer with like dual wielded luck cannon pistols and literally destroy Pyro Pete. I think it would be a lot of fun, and it would add a new dimension to the game, and it would improve the gameplay experience. And really, in my honest opinion, now, I'm not a programmer, and I certainly have never developed a game before. I don't know what licensing costs or what any of that would be, but honestly, it just seems to me like this would be very easy for the developers over at Gearbox to do. You would essentially take one game and then another game, and then you would mash them together into one giant game, and then you could play from 2 different campaigns with the same characters, and then you could have swapped loot from both games. And it would be cool to take some of the loot that you earned, or maybe you just like gibbed yourself via save editors, and then use that in like Borderlands 2 or the pre-sequel and vice versa. For example, it would be really cool to use the Godfinger in Borderlands the pre-sequel, or maybe even the Bearcat, which normally sucks in Borderlands 2. It might actually be kind of interesting to see how it would function in Borderlands the pre-sequel, especially with that low gravity affecting the projectiles. What I think this would also do is this would give people more content to tide them over until hopefully there is a Tales from the Borderlands Season 2, or until Borderlands 3. Because, I mean, at this point, Battleborn is really, I think, primarily what's on Gearbox's plate. And honestly, I know in a way, as a Borderlands fan, and I'm not really a huge fan of Battleborn, I honestly think that's kind of lame because I would have rather had Borderlands 3, but I don't know. That's just my opinion. Don't take that as an insult to Battleborn. And really, to just say this about Battleborn, I've watched some of like the cinematic stuff, like that prologue cartoon trailer or prologue cartoon thing. I mean, that was a really good thing, and I think it kind of shows that Gearbox can craft these stories, and then they've also got good character design, art design, and all that stuff. So I'm not trying to say that Battleborn is necessarily a bad game. It's just not for me. But I will admit, Battleborn does kind of leave me cold, and I want a new Borderlands game, or at the very least, I want some new Borderlands experiences. And I think doing what I'm suggesting, where you merge both games together, because I don't think it would be insanely hard. I mean, there would probably definitely be some challenges with it. I mean, you'd have to do some things with balancing and stuff, but overall, I don't really see it being like this insane thing. And honestly, I think it would be cool. You would have 12 different playable characters to choose from, and then you would have like hundreds of unique weapons from both games and hundreds of legendaries, and then all of the seraphs and pearlescents from Borderlands 2. And honestly, this would be incredible. It would be an amazing way to experience either Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel and play through those campaigns. I don't know, guys. This is just an idea that I had, and let me know what you think of it in the comments. Now, I will say lately, I have been kind of bad about reading my comments. I really do need to get on that. I think I'm going to start with this particular video. I'm going to keep an eye on the comments section of this video, and I'll reply, and I kind of want to see what you guys think of this. I may be probably taking a risk with this particular video, because if I make like a countdown video, it's probably going to do better than like a traditional commentary, but I wanted to talk about this with you guys. And if you are worried that the countdowns are gone, don't worry. The worst lasers video is going to be not tomorrow, but possibly the day after or the day after that. So it could be 2 to 3 days from now, but it is coming. So anyway, guys, I would also like to see if we can get a lot of likes on this particular video. I've been getting usually a pretty decent amount of likes. I'm very grateful for that, but it would be cool if we could get this video to 1,000 likes. I mean, that would be insane. It would blow my mind, but it's okay. If you don't want to like it, it's fine. We'll go back to normal, and from like tomorrow or whatever. So anyway, guys, if you like this video, please be sure to leave a like. Let me know what you think of this idea. I think merging Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel would be amazing. Like, I don't know. It would be fun to have Athena and kill the shit out of Terramorphous. At least that's just my opinion. But anyway, guys, if you like this video, please be sure to leave a like. And as always, take care, and I'll see y'all next time.